Hey guys, it's Bradley with the Insurance Guys podcast. You know, over the past year that we've been recording this podcast, Scott and I have met some amazing individuals and received some amazing advice. So we decided to do something for our audience that may or may not be able to listen to every single episode. We put together a white paper / ebook of the top 7 things that you must do in your agency in 2018 and 2019. We're giving this to you guys free as of right now. You can text the word book, BOOK, to 251-418-4724. Follow the prompts and you will promptly receive that book. Or you can email me at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. That's not going to be automated like the text, but you can receive it that way as well.
Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast, hosted by yours truly, Scott Howell, and the incomparable Bradley Flowers. For agents, by agents, we're here to share real-life experiences, tips, and insights related to all aspects of both being an insurance agent and running a successful agency. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let's get down to business. Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast. My name is Scott Howell, your fearless host and leader with I Protect Insurance and Financial Services based out of Huntsville, Alabama. Before we get started on today's podcast, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore, first-team parade All-American, Rivals 5-star recruit. He is single-handedly bringing the kindness revolution to the Mobile metropolitan area. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
I could tell that was going to be a good one.
You just knew it, didn't you? Yeah, it's like when my son gets up to hit baseballs, and I'm like, I can tell by the way he stands if he's going to hit the ball or not. Yeah, that's kind of where we are with that.
Shout out Wyatt.
Guys, shout out Wyatt. Hey, guys, fired up about today's podcast. Before we get started, 2 things I'd like to talk about. Number 1, me falling out of our new podcast chairs right before we came on the podcast today.
He did. Go to his Instagram.
I do have a broken left elbow right now, and we'll be seeking medical attention after this podcast. Number 2, I am fired up about being on the podcast today with somebody that I think can really help you guys out. You know, he's been in the industry for a while. He's got a YouTube video that I actually loved watching. He's about 30 minutes ago, I actually watched it. He is the business development coordinator, manager, president at Pinnacle Insurance. He is an endorsed local provider for Dave Ramsey, and he's been doing that since 2010. Loves him some Dave Ramsey. He loves the Minnesota Vikings. He loves his team members at Pinnacle. He loves his referral partners. He loves his clients. He loves his beautiful wife, Sarah, and his 2 beautiful kids, Tatum and Ty. And he loves America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incomparable Mr. Troy Thompson. How you doing, Troy?
Oh, my God, I am doing great. That is quite the introduction. I really appreciate it.
You ready to run through a wall?
I need to take a step back here real quick. Bradley Flowers. Were you really an All-American?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely
Really?
he was. Yeah, in golf.
Okay.
You were a hell of a
Football?
golfer.
No,
golf. Let me tell you something. Bradley is about to play the humble thing. You know, we get so many guests on this podcast that don't want to talk about how great they are. Bradley was a fantastic golfer, got a scholarship out of high school. He is one of those guys that probably slow plays you till you get to the golf course. Yeah, well, I'm okay. And then you get out there, and he, like, shoots par for the entire course, and you're, like, shooting a 98, and he's having to wait on you. And
Scott, I'm meeting a listener from the podcast in Vegas this week to play golf, so shut up.
Troy, before we get started, man, I want to say a couple things to you. Number 1, I want to tell you again, and I told you off air, and I'm going to tell you on air, how humbled I am and how grateful I am to have you on this podcast today, okay?
And you're our second Troy in a row.
Second Troy in a row. The second thing I want to talk about is the Minnesota Vikings. Let's talk about.
I love my Vikings.
Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Where are we at right now? How are we playing through the first couple of games of the season? I have not been keeping up with the Vikings. I'm a Raiders fan.
Keep in mind, this podcast is being recorded in September, and we are it's going to post in November.
I don't care. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it posts.
Okay.
I don't care. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings.
At this moment in time, they are 2-0 and 1.
They tied.
They had that weird tie crap.
Wait, who was the tie
Yes.
against? Who was the tie against?
The Packers.
Okay.
That was the team I despised the most until the Eagles last season.
The Packers.
Did your office manager assistant tell you when she walked in your office that Bill Belichick with the Patriots was on the phone?
No.
Okay.
That would have been awesome, though.
That is what
I would have taken that call.
That is what he told her.
No, when she answered,
I wouldn't have put you guys on hold.
She just said it's those weird guys from Alabama.
No, when she answered the phone today, when we called you, we had our headphones on, and Bradley called, and I could hear what was going on my side. And this young lady answered. She said, "Hey, it's Pinnacle Insurance. Have great day. Blah blah blah." She said, "May I ask who's calling?" And I said, "Well, Bill Belichick, the head coach for the New England Patriots." And she said, "Okay, hold on just a second."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that was probably Bree.
So, guys, let's talk a little bit. Our mission on this podcast is to help you agents in any way we can. We are about to do that today.
We're going to really help you today.
Yes. And let me say this. I want to talk about stuff today, real shit that can really help these guys today, Troy. A couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, your YouTube video clip that I saw from Agency Nation. Let's talk a little bit about door knocking. And when I say the word door knocking, I'm talking about literally getting out of your car in a neighborhood and walking around and knocking on doors. This is something that you've kind of gotten back to doing. I know you haven't done it for a little while here, but I'm very intrigued by that. Talk to our agents about that.
Well, I'm a little demented, I guess, because I do enjoy it. In fact, when I was in college, I worked for a company, Southwestern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it or any of your listeners, but basically you go to a different state for the entire summer, a different city, and you sell books door to door for 80 hours a week.
Wow.
So that's where I learned about business and about sales. I learned way more with Southwestern than I even did in college.
Yeah, but here's a little dirty little secret about Southwestern that I think I know, because I think I've known some guys that did that before. If I'm not mistaken, you can make a pile of cash doing that, can you not?
Yeah.
If you're talking about Southwestern Consulting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a good friend.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, a good buddy of mine, Jeff Brinson, who is actually a very good friend of Colby Jubinville, who we've had on the podcast twice, works for Southwestern Consulting here in Mobile.
Bradley, we need to figure out something we can sell door to door. Like something really cool that when you walk up the door.
Maybe?
Oh yeah, well we could do that. But I'm talking about
I forgot I was in that business.
I mean, we could do that, but I'm talking about something really cool. I don't know what it would be. I'll have to chew on that.
By the way, Troy and everybody, we just had a little celebration here for my birthday, and it's my birthday's tomorrow. And
happy birthday!
Thank you. We're about 2 champagne flutes deep right now. So
okay.
Well, let's get back to door knocking because I can't sell champagne door to door. So you're right. You know, in the insurance business, it's so funny how everything comes full circle, right? And when everybody stops doing that thing that everybody was doing like 3 years ago, it's like now's the time to jump in and do it again, right?
Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't 3 years ago. I mean, most people stopped door knocking, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years ago.
No doubt.
But it works more now than ever.
Right. Because nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing it.
Nobody's doing it. Just like calling people on the phone. Nobody calls anybody on the phone anymore. They'd rather create automations and email and texting and things like that. Social
Not
media.
That there's anything wrong with that.
No. In fact, I'm trying to learn that, which was agency intelligence, and hopefully we talk a little bit about that event I was at last week.
We will.
In Vegas.
We will, but before we do, I want to
shout out to Jason Cass. Does an awesome job with that event.
But before we get to that, I want to hear verbatim. Okay, I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're walking up the sidewalk. You've parked your car somewhere in the neighborhood. I assume you park your car. You don't go to like one house and then move your car. You just park your car somewhere, right?
You park it and go.
Yeah, right. And so,
in fact, my wife drops me off in the middle of a neighborhood, so I can't get back to my car.
That is awesome.
Strong.
That's kind of like running.
I love that.
That's kind of like running on the road versus a treadmill. Like you get out there a mile, you got to run back. You know.
When Sarah listens to this podcast, and I know she will listen to this podcast, Sarah, that's what we like to refer to as tough love, right there. Your ass.
And sometimes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes it'll rain and she doesn't come back for like another hour, and it's painful.
Hey,
it works.
Get your ass out of this car, and I'll come back when I'm ready to come back. That's kind of how that's working.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're walking up the sidewalk. You walk up the 3 steps to the door. You knock what 3 times on the door. I'm trying to create the exact thing that you do here.
Yeah. and I'll create the picture. You don't have anything in your hands.
Love that.
Except your cell phone.
Right.
So I'm listening to motivational stuff on my cell phone, which is kind of cool. But my cards are in my pocket, and I have a little notepad in my other pocket, and nothing else because I don't want them to think
like a baby notepad, like the size of an iPhone 5.
Yeah.
So you don't have like
little notepad.
You don't have like the big briefcase or the computer or anything like that.
3 vacuums.
Because then they know you're a salesman.
Yeah.
So I'm just walking up, and by the way, when the cops stop you, they can't really stop you because you're not selling anything. You tell them you're an insurance agent, you can't sell anybody anything. You're just handing out information.
That's true.
I'll tell you what my new pitch is, my updated, what my old one was when I first started. The new one is this. Hi, my name's Troy Thompson with Pinnacle Insurance. I bet I could save you some money on your home insurance. Then I just shut up.
That's it?
Yeah. And then they might look at you for 10, 20 seconds, but the first person to speak loses. So I just wait, let them digest what I just said, and then when they say something, then I'll pick it up. But you'd be amazed when you keep it that slow, and I probably said it kind of fast. You keep it very slow. I'm Troy, Pinnacle Insurance. I bet I could save you some money on your home insurance. And then you smile.
And then what is the most...
You'd be amazed at how many people are like, okay.
And I bet a lot of times because, you're not really, I bet you're not really dressed super professional, but you're not super casual either. You're right in the middle, and you're a good-looking guy. And and you don't have a computer with you. They probably think that you were at their neighbor's house or something like that. And
I do use that sometimes.
Yeah.
Really and I have told some of their neighbors.
Right, and you see their house, and they probably think, oh, he saw my house and thought he would have a good rate. That's why, you know what I mean? It's not, hey, he's a door-to-door salesman.
Yeah, but see, here's my problem with this, Troy. I've got a big problem with this. Okay, I've seen you. I know how beautiful you are. When I walk up to somebody's house and knock on the door, they open it and they're looking at Shrek.
Yes, exactly.
No,
right.
Come on now.
They're looking. Well, you know what they're looking at? I'll tell you exactly what they're looking at. They are looking exactly at Eddie off Christmas Vacation. The big, bulging, mean-looking guy.
I love it.
You do look like him.
I know. I look exactly like him. I look exactly like Eddie off Christmas Vacation. You tell me something. You knock 3 times on the door, and you come to the door, and big, bulging Eddie from Christmas Vacation standing there. You're slamming the door and calling the cops, bro.
No,
I'm telling you.
I disagree.
Okay.
All right. So take us back.
Smiling is number one. You side profile, and you step back. How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3", was it? 6'3", stand back at least 10 feet from the door. So you knock on the door. You literally stand back 10 feet, and you don't stare into the door, the glass by the door. You do the side profile. So they peek out, and they see you looking to the side, and then they'll open it. And then as they open the door, then you just kind of slowly turn your head, say, hey there, I'm Bradley. I bet I can save you some money on your home insurance. And you just keep it that simple.
So what happens after that? I won't talk about the fact that my side profile makes me look like the Grinch off of the Grinch. What happens then if they say, "Yeah, I'd love, sure"? Are you going in the house, or are you just going to stand there?
No, I don't go in the house because all I'm trying to do, and I've had other agents tell me, and with technology now, it might be easier to actually quote and sell right there at the door, but I'm not there yet. I will just pull out that small notepad, and I will break eye contact when they say okay, and they might ask a few more questions, and that's where the salesmanship comes up. But
now, when do you make eye contact with them from the time that the door opens?
When they open the door, and I'll glance at them. I'm not never looking at them in the eye. Eye contact is critical too. And then you shake their hand.
Wait, I misunderstood that. Are you saying don't look them in the eye, or do look them in the eye?
Well, when they say they want to see if you can save them money on their home insurance, then you pull out that little notepad.
Okay.
And you break eye contact, and you just say, "What was your name?" Got your name. What's your best phone number? Then all of a sudden you have their best phone number. What's your best email? All right. And who are you currently with? And you ask some questions, and it's all feeling out the situation. If they're super friendly and super open, you ask them almost all the questions right there. If they're kind of like hesitant, you got their best phone number, you got their best email. Obviously, you know their address. they'll always tell you who they're currently with. And then you say, when's the best time to call you? I could call you tonight or sometime tomorrow evening around this time work.
Mm-hmm.
You set up the appointment. And then from there, then you're hammering on the phones, email, texting, getting that appointment set up for the next day.
Mm-hmm. Are you worried about an X date relative to when their stuff's coming? I mean, they probably don't know that standing out on the front porch, but do you talk about that at all?
Yeah. No, we don't do that up here in Minnesota.
Okay.
You mean like when?
Well, I'm not saying we do it in Alabama. I'm just asking.
Okay.
I'm trying to recreate this.
20, 30 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
I mean, maybe more for commercial, but for personal lines,
right.
Yeah, I'm not worrying when they renew. We're just gonna, and then you prepare them. Say it's going to be very simple. I already have most of the information I need. Like when I call you tomorrow, just verify the vehicles. We'll run you through. And then when they tell you they're with Farmers or whoever, do you know what you're paying a month on your auto? You might as well jot that down right at that time. Well,
wait a second. You just ask them when they open the door. I bet I can save you some money on your homeowner's insurance. So we just went through this like small script together, and I never heard a mention of auto insurance. When did you
just then?
Well,
when did
bundling is because bundling is essential to get the best rate, I want to keep that pitch so short.
Mm-hmm.
I could say your auto, home, umbrella, your toys. Because what I used to say is, hi, my name's Troy Thompson. I'm an independent agent with Pinnacle Insurance. We're around the corner. And just so you know what an independent agent is we have a lot. But that's just way too much info for them to digest. So you keep it. And then as you're gathering that info, when you're writing it down on the notepad, yeah, we're independent. So you're selling what you do as you're gathering the info. But the key is to keep it as short as possible to get the conversation going. And gather that information to call them later.
But do you ask as you're getting towards the end of your information? Do you say, "Hey, would you mind if I quoted your autos as well?" Or do you just do it?
I don't even say, "Do you mind?" I just if they balk on it, I'll say, "Well, yeah, you have your auto and home together now, right? And 95% do. So we're going to need to do that to save you money on your home."
Gotcha. And tell our listening audience, our 250,000 insurance agents that are listening to this.
That is amazing, by the way. 250,000?
No problem. Yes, it is amazing. So tell the 250,000 agents that are listening right now, tell them what your closing ratio is on this, because I saw this on YouTube and it's amazing.
Yeah, on average, 5 leads per hour. And the nice thing about these leads is like if it's a crappy house, with stuff, you just skip right over that house, like trampolines and too many broken down cars. The roof is just
your hoarder profiling.
30 years old. Yeah, you profile the house and the yard and everything. You're like, okay, they take care of their yard. They're a good house. They're good people. I'm going to go to them. So you go to only the good people. You get out of every hour, you get 5 leads. You'll call all of them. You'll probably quote 3 and sell 1. So you work for 3 hours, you'll sell 3 households.
What's the most common objection you hear?
Get the hell out of my yard.
We already have insurance.
So does everyone else. Great.
I'm like, oh, really? You're that one person with insurance.
Exactly.
All right.
Have you ever? I mean,
what's the worst? Tell us about the worst experience.
No, let's be serious for a second. What do you do in those situations when they're kind of gruff with you and they're like? Because I'm just here to tell you, Troy, this situation right here that we're talking about was put on this planet of Earth for Scott Howell. This is what I could do this.
Knock on doors?
Yes,
all day long.
You want to know the best idea ever?
This is all me.
You want to know the best idea ever? You go get Travis that works with Jason Will,
right,
and have him follow you around and knock on doors and do a vlog.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I actually was sitting here thinking about that, but let's talk seriously for 1 second about what is your reaction and what do you do when somebody's a little gruff and they're like, "Hey, no, we're good. We got insurance."
Oh, well, I learned that in Southwestern. You just go to the next door.
Yeah.
Be friendly.
Yeah.
You don't debate people. If people are gruff,
right.
I mean, you read people even if they're willing to talk to you. If they're the type of person you don't want to work with, thank them.
Right.
Then hustle to the next house before you think about them being rude or anything. There's unlimited prospects.
Right.
Tell me something, Troy. I want to hear 2 stories. I want to hear the best experience you've ever had at a house, and I want to hear the worst experience you've ever had at a house.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if he wants to tell that.
Feel free to exaggerate for the podcast.
I'll give you my best day selling door to door, and it wasn't insurance. It was when I was it was with Southwestern. And it was in Bentonville, Fayetteville, Arkansas area. You know that area? The north.
I know it well.
West. All right. Well, that morning, I knocked on Jim and Lynn Walton's door.
Bam.
And I got rejected.
Really?
Rejected by Jim Walton. He said, I think we're pretty dialed in. But
that's Walmart,
such
right?
A cool family. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were worth $20 billion.
Well, let's back up for a second. Like when you're walking out, did they live in a 27 million square foot house? I mean, are you walking up to a mansion?
Probably a $250,000 house.
Okay, cool.
It was a Rambler.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool to see that.
Yeah.
But that day I was like, I'm not going to let that deter me, because I had to get super pumped up, just the butterflies, to knock on their door. For whatever reason, I was nervous. So I went to Pea Ridge, Arkansas, and that was just such a magical day. I think I sold 200 units, which is making $800-900 for the day, and that was 20 years ago. So it felt good. That was my first year selling books, and it seemed like every single person said yes. And it's just amazing how you can build on that momentum. And all the way down to 10:30 at night, and I was like walking on air. How good of a day I had. And that was probably my best day ever knocking on doors. And I've had many of those selling insurance. And, you know, when I would come home in those days, I wouldn't get any sales. My wife, you know, says, you know, you never know. You went out and did the work, which is so true. You control the controllables.
Right.
And the funny thing is, people still call me from 5 years ago, you know, when I had quoted them, and they're like, yeah, I had your magnet on our refrigerator, and I'd like to get insurance now. So, and those are people that I never thought I would sell. So it's kind of cool.
So tell us about your worst time.
Oh.
Like a bad experience.
Probably just the getting cussed out.
Man, you're putting me on the spot here. Come on.
Probably just getting.
Sorry.
Just like somebody
it's been raining here all day.
Right.
All day here in Minneapolis, and there was a time. This is with insurance. My wife. It was on a Saturday, and she dropped me off in the middle of this neighborhood. I think it was at 10 in the morning, and I said, "Come back at noon," and she didn't. I think she came back at like 2. So, and it was raining the whole time. So I was soaked, and I was just hustling between the houses, and everything was wet, and it was a miserable experience. But so I, you know, chewed my wife out a little bit. But hey, I think I got some sales out of it. I wish I had some specific stories for you. You guys should have prepared me for those. I could have thought of some, but none are really coming.
Sorry.
Coming to my head right now.
That's no problem.
So essentially, what you're doing is getting their information, getting permission to give a quote. Okay.
I have a good one. All right, and this was probably 8-9 years ago, right when I started. I was like, this guy was so rude to me, and he was younger than me. I was about 33, and he was maybe 27 in a nice house, 26, and he said just some very rude things to me, and for some reason he just rubbed me the wrong way. And I said, you're not going to deter me. But when I left that house, I said, I want to make enough money so I can knock on his door in a few years and tell him I could buy his house with what I make in a year. And and I still drive by that guy's house to this day, and I always look at it. But, you know, that was one thing I told my wife, too, and she said, Troy, you should never do that. But it's nice to know I could,
right?
You know, just as a way to finally stick it to him. So he motivated me. So that was kind of a negative and a positive story at the same time.
I love that. Yeah. Rocket fuel is what I call that.
No doubt.
So let's move off that. Although I absolutely love that, the only company that I hear of that still does that on a regular basis is Edward Jones. Edward Jones, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do, and their agents or their advisors are very successful doing it.
Absolutely.
And the hardest door for anybody out there listening is your car door. That's why I had my wife drop me off, because I didn't have an option. But
I'm gonna be writing that down. That's gold right there, guys. He's spitting gold. Write that down. The hardest door to open is your car door. Yeah.
You open your car door, you get the momentum going. It's not that hard. You know, you listen to something motivating on the radio. I like to listen to Grant Cardone on my cell phone, and you just go and you turn it down when they answer the door, and away you go.
Absolutely.
That if he can't motivate you to knock on doors,
Yeah.
Just pretend like he's with you and do what you would do if he was with you.
So the next thing I want to talk about is agency intelligence, which you went to last week. I do not get invited to things like that because it has the word intelligence in it, and obviously in the insurance business, nobody's going to invite me to something like that. But so it had talked about automation, lead gen, and just lots of great information from a lot of people that are just at the tip of the spear in terms of progressive understanding technology and processes and let's talk a little bit about that. What are some things that you learned out there last week that and remember, keeping in mind that this podcast is to help every insurance agent out there, whether they're an associate agent or a principal agent, in moving a step forward and improving their business. What are some of the things that you learned out there last week?
Just I couldn't have said it better myself. These guys are innovators. I would say, Jason Cass is brilliant. I would say Nick Ayers is like a Steve Jobs type with the stuff he's doing with his new agency that he's and they're all so fun. Wes Anderson, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's a technology guru that's really helping implement VAs from the Philippines and Colombia. This guy is amazing. Agency VA. Preston Schmitty, too, with his Facebook generation. Matt and Zach, I had a beer with those guys with GNN. So nice. They're just
the most
real
genuine guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the shift a lot of us have to make is that none of these guys introduce themselves as insurance agents.
Right.
Or insurance agency owners. Matt and Zach, they're entrepreneurs.
Right.
Wes, he's like a technology entrepreneur guru. Preston Smitty, he's a marketer who happens to sell insurance. So you just have to shift your mind and think bigger and think about how to scale. That's what these guys are doing. And I'm not even close to there yet, but it's an honor to just hang with them for a few days and see what they're doing and know where we're going as an industry.
Right. So let's run down the list of things that maybe you picked up while you were there. Let's talk about automation. What are some of the things that you heard or saw that you were like, holy shit? What are some of the things you saw there?
Well, I can give you the hot button words that I'm going to try to learn more from.
Go ahead.
Oh, another thing Wes does is Slack. So we're implementing Slack as much as we can in our agency. And
let's talk a little bit about that because that's such an app that I believe in, but I struggled to really find how to use it in the agency. Yeah.
What is Slack? Because I don't even know what Slack is.
It's just like an inter-office tool where you can message each other. And not only people in your office, you can message other mortgage brokers, for example. So I set up a mortgage broker and her team and helped teach them how to use it and created a channel. So now they have an insurance channel for us, for me. And if they have questions about Slack, I can help them. And I don't know a lot, but I knew a little bit more than them, at least to set it up. And now I'm just helping them learn how to use it. It's fun. You can send gifts to each other, but there's so much more you can do. You can do communication, video, live videos through Slack, and it's all part of the package.
Bradley, what do you know about it?
Do you know the backstory of that company?
Here we go.
No, but I was the guy. I saw a podcast. I haven't listened to it yet.
They were, and this is don't take this verbatim, but they were like a financial company, and they needed a way to communicate with each other, so they basically built Slack as a way just to communicate for their finance company. The business was failing. They were going out of business, and they brought in an external consultant to take a look at their business. And the guy's like, "Okay, the financial stuff sucks, but this is your product." And that's how Slack was started.
Is that it?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
kind of like crazy. 3M Post-it notes.
Right.
So if you don't
trying to develop something,
if you don't have some agency management system that allows you to communicate with each other, Slack would if everybody downloaded that on their computer, they could literally just have an inter-office messaging there, right? Is that kind of what we're talking about?
What about Billy Williams?
Absolutely.
Is Billy there?
Oh, of course Billy was, and I'm sorry I missed Billy. He is such ex-military guy, super fun guy that is all about the processes and the stuff he does and teaches is absolutely amazing.
Billy and I have been going back and forth for months about getting him on this podcast. He wants to do it. It's just It's just
he makes it so simple. He simplifies it.
Yeah.
Takes the emotion out of it. You can have the empathy and everything, but it's all factual. And
So
do what you're supposed to do and look at the numbers.
So what are some of the things you learned out there relative to lead generation? What did we learn out there as far as lead gen goes?
That I need to learn it, or I can pay people a lot of money to do it for me. Those are the two options.
Well, when you say the word lead generation to me, that's a pretty damn broad word. I mean,
it is.
Lead generation could be door knocking, it could be internet leads, it could be cold calling, it could be 1,000 different things. So what did you see out there in terms of what some of these real cutting edge guys are doing as far as lead gen?
Well, it's Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody thinks they should do, and that's why I'm glad we're talking about going door to door, because you can get caught up at your office 10 hours a day trying to figure out how to create a funnel to generate these 10, 20 leads a day that you see everybody's generating.
Or you can just go knock on doors.
Or you can go knock on doors for free and sell 3 people and make $1,000 in a day, and that'll renew the next year too.
I love you.
So that's the difference. And I want to learn to do the Facebook stuff too, but I need the money or the time, and we're short on both of them, as everybody is. But it's just being intentional, because I think that the way to scale is, creating tens of, if not hundreds of leads a day and distributing them out to people, and, whether it be mortgage brokers or, insurance leads and different things like that.
Yep.
So if I had to ask you this question, I have the option of downloading off one of these sites like Sales Genie. I can drill down to, high credit score, high income, nice house, nice neighborhood, download 400 or 500 of those on an Excel spreadsheet and call them, or go get in my car and go to a really nice neighborhood. And which one of those two would you do?
All right. It depends.
That's not a loaded question at all.
No, I'm just asking. Which one would you do if you had to choose?
I like going door to door. I do like going door to door. And if I needed to get the leads that week or get the business and sell stuff that week, absolutely I'd go door to door, because it's instant return, instant gratification.
Hey, Troy. So
somebody like what?
So when you go door to door and you get somebody to agree to quote, obviously you're going back to the office and following up with them. Is it you that gives them a call, or do you pass that off to somebody that handles that for you? Because in my head, I'm always thinking about how to delegate more efficiently. Like, what if I go knocking door to door, I get somebody interested, and I immediately through Slack notify one of my team members, and they call them immediately and work on it right then.
That's smart. That is smart. I like that. Can I use that idea?
Or just text.
What's that?
Or just text.
Can you? Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know the results.
Yeah, text the team. Just text the team member the piece of notebook paper that you just took the notes on.
Yeah.
Hey, here's your quote.
I don't think lead gen is part of the equation. I think lead gen probably stirs the drink, but you do have to have the people and everything set up on the back end to handle it. I'm looking I have problems just like every other agency does. I need to hire another salesperson right now.
Right.
Work on our processes. We are letting everybody work virtually on our team, so they're very happy right now. But
That's amazing.
Yeah, by the end of the year.
Wait, whoa, you're blowing my mind here. Did you just say that you're letting all of your team members work from home? Is that what you just said?
Yep.
So like nobody works the office besides the skeleton?
I'm going to come in because it's 5 minutes from me. The sales guys probably will come in here, and I want to bring more salespeople in and let all the the service type people who are super important, and we have a great culture. But I read the book Virtual Culture too. By the way, that's an awesome book by Brian Miles. I've read that like 5 times in the last few months.
I'm buying it right now.
It'll just get you pumped up.
Wait, what is it called? What is it? I'm so stuck on this virtual. What was the name of the book again? I'm sorry.
Virtual Culture, because nobody likes to commute. It's here in Minneapolis. It's going to be a terrible commute today because it's raining, and people are going to spend an hour in their cars, and they hate it. So once they can work from home, they're going to have 2 more hours a day with their family. They're going to be happier. Once the word gets out, even imagine other people are going to be knocking on my door trying to work for me so they can work from home.
Yeah, but don't you have people that have the self-awareness like I do? Like people ask me all the time about working from home. I cannot work from home. I mean, I do. I work on the road all the time. But if I was in a day-to-day grind type of job, which I'm not anymore, I don't know that I could work from home. I just don't know if I could do it.
I like my team so much. I said, if it doesn't work, we're going to still have our office space. We're not going to get rid of that for a while. So they can come back in if it's too hard for them to work from home, because I can totally see that.
Right.
And I'm testing this. I don't know if it's going to work, but
right. You're giving it a shot.
Read
anyway.
that book, listen to that book, and it's the way of the future.
Yeah.
I really do think it's the way of the future.
Well, Troy, I want to thank you for being on the show. I've got to wrap this thing up, but I want you to know how much I appreciate you being on the show today. Guys, listen to me. Get your ass out from behind that desk and stop aggressively waiting for the phone to ring. Go out there and sell some insurance, make some money for you and your family. Go ahead and write good business for the company that you represent. Write good business for the agency that you represent. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Love you too, man. Thanks, Troy.
Hey, guys, you are listening.
Oh, so fun, guys.
You are listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. If you need to know more about me or you need to get in touch with Scott, you can always reach me at theinsuranceguyonline.com or email me at iprotectins@gmail.com. And if you need to get in touch with Mr. Bradley Flowers, go to bradleyflowersinsurance.com or email him at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to being with you again real soon on the next episode of The Insurance Guys. Take care.